Hello everyone, my name is Mdu Ntuli and I'm an Education Officer at the Johannesburg Holocaust and Genocide Center. And welcome to the Johannesburg Holocaust and Genocide Center. Oftentimes when we have students and visiting groups that participate in our education program, they have critical questions about the definitions of race and racism, particularly when looking at Nazism and the Holocaust against the Jews of Europe during World War II. In many instances, as South Africans, we tend to define race and racism through our own prism of skin color and the differences between blacks and whites, because this was the basis for the type of racism that was practiced by the National Party in apartheid South Africa. However, in Nazi Germany, the Nazis used blood as a basis to define race. They classified people into different racial categories using this criteria. The Nazis defined Jews as a racial group as opposed to a religious group. While anti-Semitism had been there before 1933, before the Nazis seized power in Germany, Jews had been discriminated against based on their religious practices. When the Nazis took over, they turned this anti-Semitism into biological or racial anti-Semitism, which was inescapable. The third room of the permanent exhibition at the Johannesburg Holocaust and Genocide Center displays what is often referred to as the pillars of the Nazi racial state. These pillars are the main tactics or building blocks of how the Nazis turned Germany into a totalitarian and racial state. These pillars include pillars on Nazi ideology, the use of the law, the use of education, the use of propaganda, the totalitarian state, and instilling fear in citizens. I want to focus more on the two pillars of Nazi ideology and the use of the law. Often, in a racial state, racial ideology and the use of the law go hand in hand. The Nazis took their racial ideology and turned it into laws and policies that forced people to adhere to that racial ideology. Rassenschande was a Nazi law that prohibited sexual relations between Jews and those classified as Germans. This is similar to the Immorality Act of 1957 in apartheid South Africa that prohibited sexual relations between whites and non-whites. Also, the 1935 Nuremberg laws that completely stripped Jews of German citizenship are similar to the Group Areas Act of 1950 in apartheid South Africa, where blacks and other non-whites had no citizenship rights in so-called white areas. These are just two examples of how racial ideology can be instilled and enforced in people's minds in a racial state. Thank you very much.